mapping on the Multistrada, which means we've basically got a lot of prep to do to begin with to be able to get access to the front rear cylinder takeoffs for the sniffer probes. And then RPM signals, get to the diagnostic port, all that kind of stuff, and then we can start the process. Just take this little bikini belly pan thing off. I don't know what the point of that one is. Anyway, instead I can just use a larger inductive sensor takeoff, which will give me the RPM. I'll have to air the bike out as well, but that'll do. And then the other thing I've got to do is the pair valve system. I need to cap that as well, which I also have to access from the front. And then do another one on the back. This is just the Dynajet software box, hardware box. So this is where all our inputs go into. So we've got this is our atmospheric probe, so it gives us temperature and pressures. And then we've also got all of the information from the oxygen sensors at the back, which we'll also plumb in, and then any other signal inputs. So we can have any analog inputs that we want to use, obviously the RPM ones which we've just used, and then these are for the CAN cables, which we use for like the power commanders, power visions, all that type of stuff. That was touching though. We're just going to do a quick base power run just to get a baseline figure for how the bike's performing. Combined, fueling, AFR for now. Obviously we'll go to separate in a minute, so we'll just see how it is. This is our front takeoff, and then we've got a rear takeoff, and these just mount into the exhaust to get separate cylinder fueling mapping. So this is our Race Evo software for Dim Sport. So basically this is where we're going to make all of our adjustments and alterations to the base mapping, and then obviously when we do the custom mapping, this is where we go to. So we've got ignition timing, which is when the ignition event is occurred, and the duration and everything for that. We've got the variable valve timing, which is for the camshaft profiles and where they open and close, etc. We've got Lambda targets, torque mapping, which is your driver's wish maps for the actual throttle. Then you've got your air mass calculations, which again is off driver's wish, but also is the mass of air that's going into the engine, which we use for the fuel control. Then we've got speed limiters, RPM limiters, protection stuff, and then additional maps, which in this case we turn off the exhaust control valve. Once we've messed around with all of these, we'll build a base map, put it onto the bike, and then we'll go through the process of doing loads of runs, get loads of data, and then reverting back to this, making adjustments, flash it back on, check it again, make adjustments, flash back on, make adjustments, flash back on, until it's perfect. So this is an Eon scooter, which I've never even heard of before in my life. So this is also where we're going to go to get all of our data. So while we're doing the runs, we need to know specific information to be able to build the mapping. So in this case, I need to be able to see throttle position and intake air pressure. So what I've got to do is go down and find the bike, which is a 1260 Multistrada. And then once I go into here, it's pressure injection, start. Maybe wait a while. So this will give us lots of information about what's going on the bike basically. Obviously, faults and stuff is important, but the main thing for us is to know what everything's doing. So this is our data screen, which will give us all of the variable settings of everything that's going on, but it's live. So it means I can be very accurate with my throttle position, intake air pressure positions, and confirm any adjustments. So say for example, we make any change to ignition timing, this will show me exactly where the ignition timing change is, and to confirm that it's doing it and there's not something in the background to pull ignition out. Same with the variable cam timing, I can make sure that when I make the change, it exactly does it. Same for knock sensor values, so I'll be able to watch what the knock sensor is doing. So that if we are doing ignition timing and we start to make adjustments to it, we're able to check to make sure that we're not accidentally getting a bit of knock and detonation involved while we're doing the adjustment, which is really, really important. First set of runs, I'll show you in speed because it's a little bit clearer, but the target is pretty much there. Let me just change that. You can see that we're actually not far off our target already, so I'm only going to make a few minor tweaks to it and that'll get that a bit closer. We've also gained a bit already since we started at roughly around the 135, I'm already at 143. Now this is only changes to the ECU, it's no physical changes at all, so it's pretty good. So this is our handheld interface unit that we use to flash the actual bike, for this model anyway. This is a dim sport unit, but we use like loads of different stuff. We use Alien Tech power gates, which then uses Rexer and ECM titanium. We use dim sport with the race application, which dim sport also makes your rapid bike modules, etc. Then we also use flash tune ECU, Woolwich, literally about 15 different software providers. And this is all I'm using today. For this first set of runs, we've now got to basically tweak it. So this is my data screen that I'm working off. This is actually an air mass table. So I adjust the values on this table to basically change how much theoretical air there is, which will then govern how much fuel it's added. So it's kind of an algorithm table, it's not just a quantity value table. But anyway, so I've got to go back through this, adjust them and stuff from this in accordance with what figures and results we got from the set of runs, and then we're going to repeat the process. So I'll make the changes, load it onto the device, flash the ECU, rerun it again, see what the changes mean, blah 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 blah, and we repeat until we get it perfect. And that's the process.